Good morning. You saw the title. Let's get into it. So, the date is Friday, July 17th, 2020, and it's kind of a big day, for me at least. I'm running my 1,000th mile of the year. For some runners, that's not a big deal. For some people, that's huge and impressive. But it's 2020, and I'm going to celebrate this because the LA Galaxy suck and basketball or baseball hasn't started yet. Today, my 1,000th mile will be recorded in my favorite running shoes. I think they're the Adidas Boston. You can see it right there. Adidas Boston. I nicknamed them Blues Cruise. A little bit of a rhyme. And so I'm going to get started on at least the first 3 miles. Maybe I'll knock out 6 and I'll meet you guys right before the 7th. But until then, I'll send you guys to the studio to kind of hear about the statistics of tackling 1,000 miles. Catch you guys. Hello there, I'm Bryce Ridd. Today on the Bryce Ridd Show, we will be covering Bryson Riddington's 2020 1,000 mile running year. Let's get right to it. Welcome. So, a good place to start for Bryson Riddington, while he is running his 1,000th miles on his way to that as we speak right now. But a good place to start is to kind of talk about Bryson Riddington's current running streak. Now, we spoke to him before his 7-mile attempt today, and he said that his last rest day, was on May 2nd of 2020. Now, for those of you quick at math at home, you'll realize that is a hell of a lot in a 76-day running streak. Now, that does not compare to Hella Sidibe, mind you, but it is still quite impressive for us amateurs. But a 76-day streak in which he has covered, now get this, he has covered 621 miles. Now that is what I call bananas. He has covered 621 miles since this time. He started his attempt on January 1st, that's since we're starting his 1,000 mile count, which was 198 days ago. Now, let's just kind of break it down what it means to run 1,000 miles in 198 days, just shy of 200. That is an average of 2.7 miles a day, which seems pretty small for the average runner, but the consistency has to be there. And it is also an average of 19.2 miles a week. And here's another interesting statistic I would love to share with you guys in my audience. For all of you looking to burn some calories, look no further than running. Bryson Riddington is projected, and this is just in Garmin statistics, this is 89,326 total calories projected burned over the 1,000 mile period. Now, I need to start running. Hold on. This just in, Bryson is going to talk at you guys. I'll catch you guys on the next segment. See, this just gives me something to celebrate. I've been excited for it for over a week now. I think it's been 2 weeks. I've been kind of eyeing that 1,000 number. Super cool. Kind of telling of my resilience and who I am as a person. And it's just kind of been a journey. 1,000-mile journey, 3 miles in right now. 4 more to go. Looking over the cliff into what happens next, I guess. But it's cool to knock out 1,000 today. In probably about 30 minutes, I'll be done. Knocking out 1,000. That's not really something I really envisioned myself doing. But This is only the beginning. Trust. Now, isn't that something? Bryson Riddington, just 4 miles away from 1,000 miles. He is at 996 miles as he checked in on mile 3 there. Very inspiring words from Bryson Riddington. And for this next part of the show, well, he gets to mile 6, as I'm sure he told you, we're going to break down his per month mileage. But before we get there, we're going to talk about some records he set on his little Garmin watch that he spoke of so fondly. We are going to talk about his little records that he set very briefly. Now, his 1 kilometer, that's what we use here in England, time is recorded at a 3:36. His 1 mile time in this period has been a 6:05. That's his fastest mile as of now in the 1,000 mile period. His fastest 5K he recorded just a few weeks ago was at 19:29. His 10K time is a 43:59. His half marathon is a 1 hour, 47 minute, and 59 second attempt. His longest run was a 17.25 mile run in Monterey on 17 mile drive. Now that is impressive. But what is perhaps even more impressive is the way his mileage ramped up as the year went on. He started in January very modestly. A 25.7 miles were completed in January. In February, he took a drop off from even that at 13.3 miles. But when the COVID-19 pandemic struck, so did Bryson Riddington. He recorded 123.9 miles in March alone. He followed that up with a 207.4 mileage count in April. May brought him 251.5 miles. June was 245 miles, while July was 133.3 miles thus far. Oh, that will be after he has recorded 1,000 miles, of course. So that is some pretty crazy numbers. I am impressed, and I'm rooting for him to finish this next 4. Let's catch him at 6, won't we? All right, guys. 6 miles down. Only 1 mile separates me from the 1,000 mile club. Not much to say. I kind of gave my spiel a little bit earlier. But I'm excited. It's hot. I'm ready to go inside. I'm ready to get this 1,000th mile done. Sounds pretty crazy when you put it like that. All right, guys. I'll catch you at the end. Alrighty. Well, the lucky bugger only has 1 more mile to go. So we're going to very briefly talk about the specs, or that's a fancy word for shoes, that he used on his 1,000 mile journey. He only used 2 pairs of shoes, and hopefully they're on the monitor here. But he used these, his favorite shoe he has called, nicknamed Blues Cruise. Very clever. He has recorded 92 activities in these shoes and a total distance of 562.7 miles in these shoes. And if you noticed at the top of his little segment, he is running in those shoes today, so that is super exciting for him. I'm sure those shoes are super sentimental. And his other shoes that he received, on May 7th, he has recorded 59 activities in them and a whopping 444 miles. That is quite impressive. He is due for a new pair of shoes pretty soon here, but he loves these shoes, and like any other runner, he does not want to get rid of them. Now, let's catch him on his 1,000th mile. All right, guys, we are about to cross the finish line. 0.97. Here we go. When you hear the beep, that's 1,000 done. 9.8. Let's get this. 9.9. Here we go, baby. Let's go. Here we go. Yes, that's it. 1,000. Let's go. Let's go. We did it, guys. That's 1,000 miles in 2020 in the books. Let's see if you can see that. 7 miles done. Oh, it's hot outside. Oh, why'd I do this to myself? But yeah, 1,000 miles. Learned a lot about myself, about my mental toughness and my resilience. But I couldn't have done it by myself. and I apologize for any omissions from this list. But people who have shared some of these 1,000 miles with me, you guys are gonna get a little shout out right now. My brother, Riley Riddington, he did a 10 or 11 mile day with me. Shout out to him for that. One of my best friends, Daniel Sanchez, he put in some miles with me on the beach and here in the heat, in the Visalia, California heat. And his brother, Brian, we put in a mile this last week together, so he makes a list for that. My girlfriend, Ashley, we put in a couple miles together over the past couple weeks. A little bit of some morning jogs. So shout out to her for helping me on this journey. And probably the biggest person to shout out would be my dad. He didn't run with me at all, but he biked with me, and he bikes with me on my long runs. And shout out to him for that. I apologize if I've forgotten anybody. I don't think I have. Quarantine hasn't allowed me to run with a lot of people. But we knocked out 1,000, guys. We did it. Thank you. This has been me, Bryson Riddington. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Had to come back for the camera.